my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it is a Patreon pick, and it's our great friend, Mr. Kent Gustafsson, which is still an amazing name. I love that name, Dave. Great guy, Kent. Spoke to him a few times, and he's been a big supporter of both our podcasts, so we do appreciate it, Kent. But he has decided, Dave, to take us back to 1985, a movie starring Mr. John Candy as a co-star, not the main star. Well, he sort of is. And Mr. Richard Pryor. So, Dave, we are going to be reviewing Brewster's Millions. So, I know this is a bit of a classic, and Brewster's Millions used to be a bit of a thing if you'd seen it, a bit of a pop culture reference there, you know, Brewster's Millions and all that. More of American, but it has sort of seeped over into the UK. But do you remember seeing this for the first time?
So, I don't remember seeing it for the first time as such. Actually, I was quite surprised when we went back to see that it was 1985, because in my heart, as opposed to my head, really, I feel like this is earlier 80s. You know, I feel like this is right around the time of Superman 3 with Pryor as well. And yeah, I'm like, I don't remember watching it as such, but I just remember that feeling of it. And absolute classic, like you say, and even rewatching it this time, I'm like, I think I've seen this like maybe once or twice, but it's not one of those where you rewatch it and you're like, okay, I know what's coming up next. You know, I know what's going to happen in the next scene. It wasn't that for me. So one thing I do remember, and I miss this, I miss going down to the old video shop, you know, and it had the poster there, and you've got Pryor coming out. He's surrounded by all the money and everything. And I feel like probably that, you know, memory has made me think that I've probably watched this more than I actually have. But I feel like it was huge, and I feel like I should have watched it more. But I just don't think, you know, maybe we didn't have the two videos set up and a spare roll of sellotape when we rented that one out, but so it wasn't in the collection of Scotch tapes, you know, that you'd copied. But yeah, so I've loved coming back to watch this. I have to say, watched it a couple of times, you know, just to get ready, and I think probably that's not showing my hand about how much I enjoyed it. I think just the first time I was being a knob and just fucking doom scrolling while I was watching, and then I realised, actually, you know what, I haven't paid attention here, so I need to watch it again. But yeah, I just feel like this is huge, and this has been on my shortlist pretty much from day one. You know, it's just one of those classic movies. I would say it's not been remade, but actually it's been remade a lot, and just not a Hollywood remake. And I wonder how that would go in today's world. But yeah, how about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, I was actually late to watching this one. I think I watched this in the 90s. I didn't watch it in the 80s, definitely. And I remember enjoying it, because I think, like, Richard Pryor, like you say, Superman 3, I've always remembered him as Gus Gorman. I know he's a lot bigger. I like stuff with the Gene Wilder stuff and all that, you know, like, you know, See No Evil, Hear No Evil and all that sort of thing. Willy Wonka, obviously, one of my favourite. I know Richard Pryor's not, you know, Gene Wilder. They were the sort of comedy stuff you'd get out if you wanted to watch some as a rental, like Nan and Grandad, like them Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movies. They were always on TV as well. So it was sort of like, yeah, you sort of see him as a comedy actor. But yeah, because I think it was in the 90s. I think it was this I always go on about it, but that year of having VHSs, we could rent every night. I think I probably rented it at some point, but thoroughly enjoyed it. And I remember thinking at the time, like, what a great concept, but really liking Richard Pryor. And then, like, when you read about Richard Pryor and his life and everything, he's a very troubled person. He was like a lot of the comedians, he wasn't a nice person on set. He had addiction problems, which is probably why he wasn't a nice person. But like the characters he played were always this sort of, basically Gus Gorman wanted this sort of like hopeless sort of loser down on his luck, but he had a good heart, and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's like in most of the films he did, that's who he did. I don't remember ever seeing him being more serious. Maybe in later years he did, but but knowing what he was in real life as a personality and just an arsehole at times, like we're watching it now, I sort of dissect like these people, because I know it's like most celebs, they say don't ever meet your heroes, but I did really like Richard Pryor, and I think maybe the Superman 3 thing was always going to be there. That's probably my first seeing him in a movie, and then it was stuff like See No Evil, Hear No Evil, which he's brilliant in as well. So I've always liked his performances, and this plays into exactly what he was good at, what he was strong at. And I think, not playing my hand, I probably think this is probably his best movie as well in that respect. So the ones I've seen, and I've seen quite a lot of them, this probably is, but there's loads to unpack on this. And just, I think that this sort of, it's almost really Brewster's Millions is, in some way, it's like Trading Places, isn't it? Eddie Murphy, they have a bet, the two brothers, Eddie Murphy swaps with Dan Aykroyd. I know that, there's not that. But this thing where someone just has this lifestyle put upon them, and they've got like a time scale to do it and all that. I like that sort of comparison. I think that, we're all just normal people working normal jobs. We both grew up in council houses and everything. And I'm sure people listening to this say we're just normal kids. But that idea of like, someone could just go, oh, you've got a long lost uncle who's just going to give you 30 million. But the trick is, you've got to spend it. And I'm like, oh, right. Okay. So I love the concept of it, but like I say, this is only the second time I've ever seen it, but having known, I enjoyed it when I watched it, and I must watch it on my own, so it's interesting being a teenager watching this without an audience there. But yeah, I enjoyed it, so I was really looking forward to going back to watching this one. I'm so pleased Kent's picked it, because like you, it was never on my list, but it's always one that when it was mentioned, I go, oh, I should put that on the VHS list. Yeah, that's definitely so much. So as much as you going to pick it, we've had this a few times, Ken has picked it, but at some point one of us would have picked this movie, definitely.
Yeah, and you say about Gus Gorman and Superman 3 so many times, and despite the fact it gets generally panned, and people I know say Mike Burton from Genuine Chit Chat, I think I seem to remember listening to his perspective, and you just can't get it because it's just not a good movie. But the love that I have for it's irrational. But even before that, I think the reason I feel like I maybe watched this earlier in the 80s is one of the copies I did have was Stir Crazy. You mentioned about Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor together as that duo. And I watched that film to death. I used to bloody love that. And I can't remember. I don't think we've done that one yet, have we?
No, we haven't. No, so it's the Bullet Train as well. Is it Silver? No, Silver. There's a train one, isn't there? Silver something. That's similar to See No Evil, Hear No Evil, where they're both in that. I've seen that as well.
Isn't there the Woman in Red or Lady in Red or something like that as well?
Yeah, I remember that one, Dave. Yeah, remember that.
I'm sure you do.
I'm getting a twitch now, but yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So, and also you mentioned, I mean, the parallels with Trading Places are there, but I mean, basically you've got the same screenwriters, haven't you? You got Timothy Harris and Herschel Weingrod. They were the writers for Trading Places and for Brewster's Millions. But I mean, this wasn't an original idea. You basically had a novel called Brewster's Millions that came out in 1902.
Bloody hell!
So that was the whole idea of it, and so yeah, pretty fascinating stuff.
It's Silver Streak is the one about. It's from 1976. So I remember that one with Gene Wilder. So that's sort of went back. I think. One. Yeah, it's a comedy one about it's a murder on this train basically, and there's all like the madcap stuff around it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't remember a lot about it. I just remember it's Snoover Train, Dave. But it was them doing what they did because they did a lot of movies. But what was interesting, did you know that they did a lot of movies together and fucking hated each other?
Oh, it just shattered my perception.
Honestly, they did. Honestly, well, obviously we've done The Wiz as well, which Richard Pryor was in, didn't we, Dave?
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't like each other. I don't know if it was something that grew over time, because they Stir Crazy as well, isn't there? Remember that one where they're in prison and stuff? That's 1980.
The one that I was saying.
Just the one you've just been saying there. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, I definitely wasn't listening then. Sorry. But I remember Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy. that was the same year as See No Evil, Hear No Evil. But yeah, they just, there was something. I don't know whether they fell out on set and then it just becomes something where when they were together, there was just this chemistry and they just did it as a job. But yeah, it's a shame that because I always felt like they were really good friends off screen. But the history of this, and like you say, it's a reenactment, reenactment, and a different movies and everything. It's unbelievable. Like
you know what? I've just literally stumbled across this, right? So, Trading Places as well was written for Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
That makes sense.
But Pryor got severely injured in 1980, apparently, and so they recast them as Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd.
Ah, right. Which, to be fair, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love Trading Places. When we did it a couple of years ago, it was a New Year's special we did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you forget
from Sweden.
Oh, I fucking love it. I love it at the start. Eddie Murphy's on his knees as if he can't walk.
I can see it in my mind's eye now where the cops pick him up and he's like, it's a miracle.
Oh, it's outstanding. I've got to say, Dave, before we even get into this is completely going left field, nothing to do with it. But as a gamer or anyone listening, you have to buy the new James Bond game, 007 First Light. It has been absolutely touted as one of the games of the year. I bought it. I played about an hour of it. Really good. It's a cross between Uncharted. It's made by the people that make Hitman. Honestly, they said it's like you're playing it, but it's like it's a full movie James Bond. It's when he's younger and he becomes a 007 agent. Honestly, I haven't done an hour, but Jordan's been playing it because we obviously PlayStation, Xbox. One of you can buy the game and then you can share the game without having, if you're in the same house or your accounts are on each other's PlayStations or Xboxes, you can not have to pay double. But she's nearly completed it, and I've been like side-eyeing it as I'm editing my holiday vlogs, not looking, but every review has said it's absolutely outstanding. So completely nothing to do with Brewster's Millions, but that is my recommendation. And he's brilliant.
Really It'll probably be a little while before I get to that because I'm such a cheap bastard. I always
you're still playing FIFA 14, aren't you?
I always wait. Yeah. Get Michael Owen on FIFA 99 or something.
Rooney Ronaldo.
Just running around everyone. A few weeks ago, I just downloaded Red Dead Redemption 2 just because it was like 15 quid or something on sale. And it's like, all right, yeah. So I'll have a go at that. So I like the prices to come down before I actually purchase.
Yeah, no, I get it. It will drop that. It will drop as well. But anyone listening, unbelievable game. So it ticks all the boxes if you're a James Bond fan. It's like everyone said in the reviews in a positive way. It's not a movie tie-in and stuff, and it just feels like you're in a James Bond movie, but you're actually acting it out, the fighting, everything's supposed to be excellent. And apparently all women come across the like in different scenes, these different women in like bikinis now, and apparently they like trying to distract him because he's got the old philanderer about him, Dave, even at a young age. So it's supposed to be really good.
Fair dues.
True to the orange. Nothing to do with Brewster's Millions, but I just thought I'd have to ADHD and have to say that, Dave, verbalise it, but there you go.
Fair enough. Well, Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
What would you do if someone gave you $30 million?
Yeah, I'd retire. End of film. It's supposed to be Richard Pryor, Dave. I don't know if it is, but anyway.
But Monty Brewster faces an impossible challenge.
A challenge so ridiculous it could only be invented in the 1980s. This is nothing like him, Dave. Carry on.
You'll be one of those old newspaper sellers. Hey, come and get your... Come and get your paper here. Read about the Empire State Building that's being put up.
You know we're going to end up as the guy of Home Alone again, don't you?
Yeah. Cheers, snakes.
$30 million in 30 days.
Which sounds easy until you discover you're not allowed to buy anything useful.
No assets, no investments, no keeping the money.
Basically, the financial planning strategy of a lottery winner on a stag do.
If he succeeds, he'll inherit $300 million.
Or, as it's known today, enough for a modest flat in London.
Witness luxury, excess, spectacular waste.
Finally, a hero brave enough to treat money the way I treat takeaway out. Fuck me, Dave, I've kept Just Eating business for years, my friend. Go on.
Political campaigns, limousines, endless spending.
He's spending money so fast even his accounts develop heart palpitations.
The clock is ticking.
And somehow he's discovering that getting rid of millions is harder than keeping it.
Brewster's Millions.
The only film where the financial irresponsibility is the moral choice.
Minor league baseball player Monty Brewster is broke, drifting, and out of chances until a forgotten family fortune drops in his lap with the force of a miracle. But the dream comes with a cruel twist. To inherit $300 million, Monty must spend $30 million in 30 days without acquiring assets, giving it all away, or revealing the rules to anyone around him. Thrown into a world of champagne excess, suspicious friends, baffled lawyers, and impossible choices, Monty discovers that losing money can be the most dangerous game of all. As the clock ticks down, every reckless decision could either bring him closer to the unimaginable wealth or cost him everything. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, I think if someone understanding who we both are, and me especially when it comes to the way I am with money in that, Dave, this would be my fucking dream. I could spend 30 million and there'd have to be a stipulation. Honestly, he starts off, and what I found really interesting about this is, like you say, Richard Pryor. I'm not buying him as a baseball player at all, Dave. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it at all. But it's part of the story. Obviously, he's a thin guy anyway. It's not like he's overweight or anything like that. But I do think that, and I said it last week, I was probably wrong really about John Candy. I think the dynamic of the two, they've got good chemistry together. He's really good, John Candy, in it as his best mate, and Spike Nolan. He plays John Candy. We're talking about Only the Lonely and how he was a bit more serious. And obviously, this is Only the Lonely is like 6 years after this. But this is just before Planes, Trains and Automobiles. It's John Candy doing what he does best, and you got Richard Pryor doing what he does best as well. And I think the dynamic of them being friends works really well. I mean, they're playing the game at the start, aren't they? And fucking Spike's there just taking the piss. He's the catcher, and he's just there like having a go at the baseball players. And that guy, he has a go at one of them. He kicks off and he's laughing, and he gets him. Then the other guy's like, "Yeah, you're not going to get me. You're not going to get me." Next minute, there's a full-on fucking punch up in the bar afterwards as well. And they're trying it on with them two girls. And one of the girls is one of the pitchers of the other team who they're playing. Honestly, I think this has aged really well. I think you could watch this now. Yeah, it's from the 80s, but I don't think it leans into the 80s too much. There's not a lot of things in it other than mobile phones, maybe the internet. But I think the way the movie's made is quite timeless. But honestly, Dave, I'm holding my hands up. I fucking love this movie. I'm annoyed I've not watched it for so long. I think Richard, pretty much as I said about his personal demons and that, as a character, he's so good in this, and John Candy's excellent, and I think the support cast as well. It just shows with them, I love all that. I mean, the bit with the uncle's a bit. This question marks there straight away. The uncle, you've got to spend 30 million. I'm questioning that whole idea and concept, because obviously it is off a book, like you say, and it's been different, remakes and everything. But I think if you just park that bit, that's the one bit that jars with me. I love the concept. He's got to spend 30 million. And the fact that he's just going to different people. The security guard first, that fucking horrible photographer, the proper paparazzi guy. It's like, you got $5,000 a week, and Spike's like, what's going on? And he can't tell anyone. And I just, honestly, I think it starts so strong. And I think there's just loads of 80s actors and actresses in it that we've seen in different movies that we've covered on this, that we've watched. Honestly, I think this is a bit of a hidden gem. It's not a hidden gem nobody knows it, but it's not one that people straight away go, if you've seen Brewster's Million, you've got to have rented this out or maybe watched it the odd time it was on UK TV. But yeah, I think this is a great movie.
And how many times have we gone back and a film doesn't match up with your memory of it or your feeling of it, and you kind of remember individual flashes or something, and then the whole film just isn't quite that good? I was quite worried coming back to this one, because I thought, it's one of those things that people do know of, but it's not necessarily one that someone watches over and over again, or at least not that I'm aware of it is. So I was thinking, this one might not age well, but I'm with you. I think it does age well. I mean, like you say, the granddad saying, "Yeah, your great granddad's a honky" or something. It's like,
Oh
oof.
my God. Yeah.
There's some language like that maybe you wouldn't have today. It's such an 80s sort of thing, and that's probably in Trading Places as well somewhere, I imagine. But yeah, I do think it ages well. I think the most unbelievable thing is that Richard Pryor has been spent 15 years being a minor league baseball player. It's like the did I tell you, before I joined the band, before I joined your band, whatever, like I'd done a few auditions with different bands and stuff, but to be honest, as a bass player or a drummer, you've got your pick, right? So
Yeah.
typically it was me turning it down for whatever reason, and I'm not joking. Obviously, it's not like you could do a Teams call. We're talking about in the 2000s here, and I just remember this one band that turned up, and it was like they were the Grateful Dead or something, and they were telling me how they had this classic thing of saying, "Oh yeah, well we'll do the covers, but we'll put in some of our own stuff." I'm like, mate, you're like 60, the old classic rockers, and they're like, we just need that one song and we'll get signed. Whereas at that point in my life, I'd given myself up to 30, and I thought, right, if I can't make it with original stuff, covers it is for me. I just enjoy it. That's all I want to do. Whereas, like, say you got these guys who are like 60 and still wanting to get signed to a record label. So for me, the whole thing with Monty and this baseball, he's obsessed with baseball, isn't he? Even when he's getting called in, he doesn't know about the inheritance or whatever. He feels like he's been signed up. It's not like he's not a young, he is a middle-aged bloke in this movie. But I actually, before I get back to the plot, I will say about John Candy, I did like his character of Spike, and I think this is probably one of the first things I saw in John Candy. But I don't think he's quite peak what I love about John Candy. I think he's okay. I just find him a tad sleazier than I like my John Candy. I like John Candy to be, Del Griffin, or what was his character in in Home Alone, where
it's a freebie. The folk. Is his name Gus? Maybe Gus.
It might be. They're big in Sheboygan.
He did it for free, didn't he? He did it for free, didn't he?
Yeah, so I don't know. For me, that's like peak John Candy and things like Uncle Buck and stuff like that. But, so when he's trying to chat up the women in the bar, and he's like, oh, yeah, in the US where we do a massage, there's clothes that really get in the way, and so it's better to do it nude, and do you fancy that sort of thing? Like, say the two girls end up being, the fiancés of the rival baseball team. He just happened to be coming to the same bar. I just love the thing I like about Richard Pryor as well, and like you said, the off-screen stuff is quite distasteful, but it's the way he delivers things, and especially as a kid, you're watching this, and when the girls say to the other, the fiance or whatever, the baseball team, she's like, yeah, these were trying to pick us up. Pryor's like, bullshit. It's just the way he delivers it. I just love it. And even now. But yeah, I love the premise, right? And you think now, today, $30 million? Well, buy a few fucking NFTs and job done in a day. So, but it actually demonstrates, and obviously it's fiction, right? It's all written. But it demonstrates when you've got so much money, it's actually really fucking hard to spend that amount, and even when he's trying to throw it away with gambling and everything, isn't it? Well, you do so many bets at 50-1, well, fucking one of them's got a good chance of coming in, and, he ends up winning a load. So I loved the way that all played out, and all the different ways he's trying to be frivolous, and then it kind of rebounds on him. So yeah, I really enjoyed going back to this one as well. And like I say, I did genuinely watch it 2 times because I hadn't concentrated properly the first time, so I need to give it a better viewing. But yeah, I'll be watching this one again, I think.
No, I will. And this is God's honest truth. I've got, like, as we're talking, for some reason, I've got X open, and the scenes just come up. This is on my life as we're recording. The scenes just come up on X. And I wasn't scrolling. You just load it on, and it's there. And I've just moved the tabs, and it's a scene with Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun. The one when he's trying to pay that guy off at the fucking the docks, and he's like, yeah. He goes, well, let's do. Give me 20. He's like, lend me 20. That's the photographer. Out of
really?
The same guy. I swear to God, I've not done anything. It literally, you just get like random stuff comes up on X, and that was there, and it's that fucking scene, and I'm like, that's the fucking photographer. And I've just had a quick look, and it is Joe Graciosi or whatever he's called. It's the same guy. That's fucking bizarre. I can't believe that. But I'm with you. I think like it's so well made, this. And I think the premise of like what he's got to do, you would never be able to spend that. I think, again, it's a bit like Trading Places where, and almost even like a UK thing, you'd look at like Only Fools and Horses. It's a comedy. If you're not from the UK, man, well, it is. But the premise is the main tagline from Del Boy, the main character, is this time next year we're going to be millionaires, and he's chasing to become a millionaire. And by the time they become millionaires, spoiler, after like 16, 17 years of the show, they get the money and they're fucking bored because there's nothing to chase. There's nothing. Yeah. Every one of us would love. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dave. I'd probably be in fucking Vegas in a storm drain or something with no money. But if I had the sort of this sort of money, and you were like, people get bored and then want to do things. I know, for me personally, I would be like, I'm done. See you later. I'm traveling the world, whatever, But there is that thing of, I like my technology, I love my gadgets, my consoles, every building stuff. I love building PCs. There's only so many times you can do that. I think you do have to find things to do, and money then becomes irrelevant in that respect. There's a point. They interviewed that guy, the banker Dave, on the other day, and it was one of these TikTok things. I think it was a bit of a setup, but he like, oh yeah, he goes, and he just says like, when you get to £10 million, money is done. You don't need it. You, as long as you've got that, he said, the interest you make off it, it's just nothing. It's just absolutely nothing. It's up to you whether you want to piss it on the wall, but if you invest it correctly, he said, I don't even think about money now. I'm just trying to help people. I'm going to give it up. But there's that thing in there where people have so much money. And I think this is the idea of it. It's like, yeah, we all have our struggles. We all want more. We want to be able to secure our families, future, your grandkids, great grandkids, whatever. But then there's also that point of, what are we here for? Because money, I know I talked about it the other week, but unfortunately, I'm going through something, and we're going through something as a family, that there is no amount of money can help in our situation. You'd hope there is. You'd hope that there was something out there, treatment or whatever. 300 million, you would just throw everything. I give everything up I've got now to rectify that situation. We sound that, but I think that's what was quite interesting watching this, was like, we all chase that, but you've got to put your life in perspective and go, look, health is always wealth, Dave. I'm not going to keep saying it every week, but I think it was quite an apt movie for us to cover with everything that has been happening. Just from my personal point of view, recently, there is no amount of money can rectify the situation we're in. And that's where I think that's what it is. It's written in 1902 as a book. And I think, like, all right, yeah, it's 80 years later, it's 83 years later, it's made into a movie. But I think that's the whole point. Is like, he sees the 30 million, he goes to the bank, he goes in the bank of this money there, and they try and give him $1 million, aren't they? And them shice the fucking solicitors who get power of attorney. Oh, here's $1 million here. But it's that idea of seeing that money and go, we would be like, fucking, let's do it. I'd be had fucking American muscle cars, Ferraris, everything out fucking outside my house. But then it's like, but there's only so many times you can do that and get a bit of sense of achievement out of it. Do you understand what I mean? I think that's what I love about, as much as we've got the comedy, we've got, and, obviously, Monty's trying to do good by people. His baseball team, other people, he's giving people jobs, the security guard, everything, and all these people, come and have a meal, let's have a party. He's just giving money away left, right, and centre. Nobody knows what he's doing. There is a really good life lesson underneath it. And I thought, for me personally, like watching it now, 40 years later, it was really sort of a good tonic I needed, I think, just to really show how evil money can be, as much as it can help people as well.
Yeah. I must admit, it did have my mind wandering around on a lot of things. And like I say, if you bring it into the context of today, I mean, obviously 300 million isn't what it was in 1985. So you'd have to ramp that up. It'd be probably getting towards a billion, maybe. So, well, not 30 million, sorry, but the winning prize of 300 million, you would think, okay, that probably gets close to a billion or whatever in today's money. But money is just it's a man-made concept, isn't it? And it's funny for us because we, working class, we trade our time for money. So we have to have a job. And at the end of the month, we get paid for that. Or if you're self-employed or whatever, you pay yourself. But ultimately, you still trade in your time for money. And I think it was last year at some point, it was a bit of a hyper-focus fucking rabbit hole that I was off on. And I was thinking, I wonder, like, say your pension, right? How much money do you need where, you're trying to figure out for your pension, right? How much, so if I retire at 65 or whatever, or 67 it'll be for us, what would keep me going for 20 years of not working, right? So you need to build up your little pot for that. And I thought, well, at some point there's a tipping point where, because of how much it grows each year, you can still take out, I think the number in my head was like 50 grand, say. You take out 50 grand each year, but actually it doesn't shrink that pot because it's grown more than the 50 grand. And the number, and it's very open to challenging, this is just my fucking pissing around trying to figure it out. The number I came to was 4.5 million in today's money.
Yeah.
I reckoned 4.5 million. Anything north of that, you can just take out your 50 grand and your wealth will still keep going up despite, chipping away at that each year. And so I thought, well, again, today, how many fucking billionaires and millionaires do we have? And again, I come back to this thing of fucking money being a man-made thing. There's more money in the world now than there has ever been before. But we don't fucking feel it. We don't feel like there's more money because we're getting a smaller slice of the pie every fucking year. So, yeah, I'm not going to go onto a political I'm not going to get on my soapbox. For me, it'd be vote none of the above. But this film, like you say, you've got the comedy, but there's a lot of fucking heart to it as well, and a lot of, serious things to think about.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like, obviously, one of the main characters is Angela. She's the paralegal. You can see her, the old... I've got to say, Dave, that's the look. The Chris Phelps look.
but also, it's like, oh, here she goes. She's not good looking because she's got glasses on.
Yeah. Oh, my God, it's going to surprise us. It's Olivia Newton-John in Greece, like that sort of thing. But you can see, and then she's with Warren, who is a bumbling, he's like a Clark Kent-like character, isn't he? He's a junior lawyer at Gamble. Basically, he is. And what I do love the fact that when it all comes out and Angela's like, why are you spending this money? She's his accountant and she's trying to... When Warren comes in, she's telling like Monty what a great guy he is because she's had a few days with Monty and he's like, yeah, he's a humanitarian. He does this, he saves the fucking dolphins or whatever. She's going on and on and on. And as soon as Monty meets him, he's like, oh, you got a bit of style. It's 250,000. I'm not very good at that. He goes, my ex-wife is though, Marilyn. Get her in as well. And his whole, she's bigged him up as this absolute moral conscience, charity worker. He will not be broke. And straight away, Warren's like, yeah, but when Angela's like, Warren, he's like, yeah, but it's 250,000. And then that plays into the fact that because he works for Granville and that, the solicitors, they want him, Granville and Baxter, they want him as a spy then, don't they? Which I don't think really. Warren comes into it, he seems like a nice guy. And the arc of him being a baddie isn't really there until the end bit, I think. I think he comes in as a good guy. All right, he's been manipulated, but it's not very... For me, Warren should be an arsehole from the start. He should play up to Angela, as a bit of a faker, like he loves her, and that's why she believes him. But then we get little segments off where he's actually a bit of a nasty piece of work. But I don't think there is really until the end. He only becomes a bit of a nasty bastard at the end.
Yeah, and again, I just see these guys as the Dukes. That's who they are.
100%.
Now, because I did watch it twice, it was the second time that I noticed actually earlier in the movie. For me, I think it was a good twist. I think if he had been made out to be a bigger baddie, it would have been more obvious and you'd have seen it coming a mile off. Whereas it was like, oh, you absolute bastard. But, you know, he very deliberately asks for a 20 grand loan and says, yeah, I'll sort it out with the accountant later. And it was like, blink and you'll miss it. And I was like, oh, you bastard. It was so, done in that bumbling fool Clark Kent sort of way. But it was all very deliberate so that when he gets right to the end, it's getting close to midnight, he's actually still got this 20 grand there.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. And it's the manipulation of him as well, isn't it? Because he's being manipulated.
Yeah.
He wants this position as a lawyer and become a partner and everything. I do love, though, like all the way through, like the baseball thing where he's trying to get the hack and sack bulls. And that thing with the train going through the middle, apparently that's a regular thing in Chicago. It was years ago. Like that's, even though it's supposed to be based in New York, that was like a thing with the minor leagues. You'd have trains and different things going through the grounds. It's almost like, sorry.
Would the train track be there and then you just decide to build a baseball pitch on it? Or is the baseball pitch on it there and then they
build through it?
Well, I'm just going to fucking railroad my way through there. I don't give a shit, It's got to be a straight line.
I think maybe the train's built afterwards. I think you're probably right. Because why would you build a baseball stadium? I don't get it. Unless the stadium's built for the staff of the train rail line. I don't know. I didn't look into it, but I always found it really funny because it reminds me of being a kid when you're playing on the street. It's like car. And everybody have to go to the side while the car go like on a cul-de-sac. I used to play with mates cul-de-sac. It was like Wayne's World, isn't it? When they do the same thing.
Yeah.
They move the nets when they're playing hockey and that. But I do love that. And I like the fact that what I did like as well, because Monty's building himself up to be this absolute, like, I could have been a contender type thing and all this. And he's saying that's what he's concentrating on.
Trials.
Yeah, we've all been there, Dave. Trials. Well, I had a guy come once said he'd play well. I had Bobby Charlton actually called me Gaza once, Dave, but I certainly didn't play like Gaza. But it's more because I was slightly chubbyish. But there you go, at 11 years old. But anyway, that was
bleach blonde hair, maybe.
Right. Dave, there's no need for this character assassination. How fucking dare you? But anyway, moving on. So, you're fucking hit the nail on the head there. But let's just move on. So I like the fact though that when it does come to the game, that he doesn't just become this like he's bigging them up and they're showing the New York Yankees playing and they all look like they're on steroids, don't they? She even says it, Angela, like, these guys just look huge compared to Monty. Because he does. He's you said this before the podcast. Oh, sorry, I'm taking this from you, but he's a 45-year-old bloke. Yeah, he's thin.
Yeah,
he's not a fucking baseball player. He's not got an arm on him. Like, it don't make sense. If he was a big sort of, if he was in shape for the 80s, you'd go, all right, fair enough, we can buy that.
Yeah.
He isn't. And I do like the fact that he comes off and he's hurt his arm and the guy comes to him, doesn't he, which is Thingy's dad out of Dirty Dancing. Baby. Yeah, I got it right this time, Dave, because I named the wrong actor last time, didn't I? On that Vegas show, that Vegas film we did. But he says, it's time, kid, I'm taking you out. And I like the fact that it just ends. The Yankees have absolutely decimated him, but these guys have, like, even despite the pep talk, it's not like they've done an FA Cup upset and took out Premiership team and that. I do like that little bit to it, but I think what you find as it's going on, and I think it's good in Richard Pryor's like performance, is you can see he just becomes fatigued, doesn't he, at everything. Yeah. Like just life, and you've watched it twice, so it probably makes more sense the second time. But I like the way, and whether that's intentional or not, he genuinely is just fatigued with the money, with the people, the hangers on, everything. And obviously, I like that. And the fact that it gets to the point where he's got 38,000 left. And it's like, let's have a party, and nobody turns up once sorry, I've jumped too far here. Let's talk about the game. I love that fucking mayor candidacy thing. Fucking mafioso. And he even says it, which is true. They're going to be on 60 grand a year or whatever, or 100 grand a year but yet, how they earn this money or how they, just what I mean. Like, I love that thing. I love that like idea of that's what politicians do. The fucking Keir Starmer's on whatever he's on, 150 grand a year, and it's like, but obviously like you say, getting too political, but the good old Tories, the amount of backhanders and different things they were putting their names to, and the money they're making, it's like, you're on 80 grand a year. And you've got fucking mansions everywhere and butlers and fucking kids go to the best private schools. Come on, you know what I mean? I love that he calls them out because that's still present. As I say, I think it's aged really well. I think even now, and I love the fact that it's like none of the above. I don't give a fuck. But somehow it reverse psychologies everyone, and he ends up being like, they want you to be mayor of New York. I fucking love that. I love that thing of like, no, I don't give a shit. I'm fucking bent. I love drinking. I love gambling. I don't care. But if you think I'm bent, these out, and I just love the fact that everyone just buys into it. I know it's a bit of a 10-minute segment in the movie, sort of like 3/4 of the way in, but I think again it just shows like the rise of Monty Brewster and the fall as well. Once he says he's not running for mayor, he just loses all steam. Everyone just seems to lose him. I just love that deflation of the character in the movie towards the end. Honestly, I think it's a great movie, this.
And I do feel like, I think you mentioned it right at the top of the show, that this is probably the best thing I've seen Pryor in terms of not just being the clown, actual acting, so you get the funny bits, but as well, I think he does play it quite well where, it's his great granddad's plan, isn't it? His dad had locked him up for 3 days to make him smoke through all those cigars. And it made him not want to basically smoke cigars again. So he wants to, rather than just handing over the 300 million and seeing what he does with it, he wants to make sure he hoards a bit, and doesn't, he's more careful with his money. Like I say, I think fucking 300 million back in 1985, you'd struggle to blast through all that anyway. But yeah, so you can see that he is fatigued by the end of it, so that even by the time he comes down to sign everything away to, I'm just going to call them the Dukes, basically he's done with it. He's so bloody sick of money. He doesn't care that he's about to lose 300 million. And I felt the tension, even on the second time, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. But where, she's trying to stop him from signing, and he clocks the guy, and he's like, "Oh, I need someone on a retainer. So can you be a retainer for $20,000?" And even though I know what the outcome is, I felt like it builds up the tension. I'm like really rooting for him to get rid of everything.
Yeah, I love that. I love the receipt thing and everything, and it's like ticking, tick, tick, tick. And like you say, you know what's happening, but I think it adds good tension to it, doesn't it? It adds like a believability to it. The only thing I'd say, I would have loved a little bit more than him just walking out with Angela with the 300 million, because I felt like John Candy, Spike seemed to be missing for the last 15 minutes and everything he'd been through. It'd have been nice for him to tell Spike what it was about. But maybe, like you said, he'd have fucking spent all the money because he saved it all, didn't he? But just what I mean, it felt like I did feel a little bit cheap. I couldn't remember the end. I knew the end, but when obviously he wins and Angela and that, but I couldn't remember the actual end segment as the film ends, if that makes sense. And then when it did, I was like, I don't know, I felt a little bit cheated, a bit like Crocodile Dundee the other week, where he stands on everyone's fucking head, the hug, and that's the end of the movie. And I'm like, oh fuck, that's fucking rubbish, but I felt that ending's a bit shit. But then again, what else could you do? I don't know. I just felt I needed a bit more because what we'd been through, like watching it for the last hour and 40 minutes.
I do feel like the older movies though, they do just end abruptly, don't they? It's like, okay, we've been on this journey. Yeah, got what he wants. Roll credits. I said about, this isn't my favorite John Candy role, but one of the bits, and it's not even funny, but just when he's talking about, he made some investments, and he's like, $10 million. I don't know why, it just really tickled me the way he's delivered it. Whereas Monty's going mad, isn't he? Because he's like, I don't want the investing. I need to get rid of this money. But I did like that bit with John Candy.
No, it's really good. It's a great movie, Dave. Loved it. So, should we get into our scores?
Let's go.
So, Ken, thank you so much for picking this, mate. Absolutely loved it. I didn't think I'd love it as much as I did. And yeah, it's just a great movie. I think it's so relevant. It's aged really well. You know, it's 41 years old. And honestly, it doesn't matter that it's mid-80s. I think the idea behind it, yeah, but it's silly and all that. But I think the way they shoot it doesn't make it like mid-80s movie in a lot of the aspects. And I think there's a good story. I think Richard Pryor is really good. John Candy's good. So, Dave, I've not done this for a while, but I think I'm going to put this to Cloud City because I really enjoyed this one. I've not done a Cloud City for a while, but yeah, Kent's caught me off guard with this. Really enjoyed it. Definitely watch this again. And yeah, just annoyed I've only watched it twice now in about 30 years, but great movie. Absolute classic.
Very interesting. So, I mean, I enjoyed it like yourself. I thought coming into it, I was quite nervous. I thought, yeah, this might not age quite, well enough. And then when I was watching it, like I say, I didn't really remember that much about it. I didn't even really remember that he was a baseball player, if I'm honest. I just remember the feeling of it and that sense that he had to get rid of all this money and everything. I don't think it's not the funniest movie I've seen either Pryor or Candy in, but it is funny in parts, it's charming in parts, it's thought-provoking in other parts, and yeah, it makes it relevant to today. And again, I like to say, us growing up, a millionaire was just unimaginable, wasn't it? You just couldn't imagine like anyone who you knew being a millionaire, whereas, people's houses now, like say down in London, are probably worth millions in themselves. So a millionaire seems more like a normal person now. So I guess the equivalent would be a billionaire. And I often struggle to really think of the difference, between a million and a billion. They just sort of sound similar, but the scale is so ridiculously different. And I was trying to figure out an analogy, and basically if you walk, say, from London to Edinburgh and consider that's the equivalent of 1 million, right? If you compare that to 1 billion, you'd have to walk around the earth 16 times. So that gives you an idea of the scale when we're talking about billionaires today. So I think if you did remake it, you'd have to make it a billionaire probably. But I'm not quite going to go to Cloud City. I reserve that for the absolute upper echelons. I will absolutely watch this again. It has occupied my mind space a lot this week since watching it, even the first time, and then wanting to go back and watching it the second time more thoroughly. But yeah, I think it's a Pleasantville for me, just not quite at the upper echelons. And I would say, though, if you haven't watched it for a while, definitely watch it. It is only 6.5 on IMDb, which I think is a bit harsh. And I don't know, with some of these things, there's a weight into how it was received at the time. But yeah, I do think it's a bit higher. So yeah, Pleasantville for me.
Good work. And that means, again, it's a cracking movie. So next week, Dave, is our good friend Helen and Patreon. What has she picked? Because I can't see in the diary. I'm wondering whether I'm worried now that this is a stitch up, Dave. I looked and I was like, oh no, what is this?
So it's not a stitch up, but it is a little bit different. If you just bear with me, because I need to bring up Discord here, because there is a choice, Chris. And typically, fucking Discord is taking ages. I mean, I could just cut it out, I guess. But hold on. So, where is it? Right now, Chris, the choice is in your hands. I have 2 movies that Helen has suggested, and one is pleasure, and one is pain. So, which one do you want to opt for, sir?
Dave, knowing that I love to pleasure myself, it's got to be pleasure. Helen, don't let me down, please. Don't.
Well, this, Chris, is the 1993 movie, and I'm sure you probably watched it at the time. I know I saw the trailer so many times. It is, well, actually, I should probably say, it stars Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore.
Oh, yeah.
It's Indecent Proposal. Now let's get into the trailer.
I remember this frustrated the life out of me when I was a kid.
Frustrated, yeah?
Yeah, because Robert Redford's an arsehole. Just like,
no relief from...
Would you
I
mind
can't
lending
comment
your
on that,
wife-
Dave.
Excuse me? For luck. What do we got to lose? I got money, I got security, I have businesses, but
Yeah, something.
you have something that I just don't have.
Well, I guess there's.
Well, I guess there's limits to what money can buy. Not many.
Some things aren't for sale,
Such as?
but you can't buy people.
So what are you saying? You can't buy love? That's a bit of a cliche, don't you think?
It's absolutely true.
Well, let's test the cliche. Suppose I were to offer you $1 million for one night with your wife.
David, I think you want me to do it.
Why do you want to do it?
It's funny doing this one right
done
after
for you.
Brewster's Millions, and we're just talking
know, yeah.
about millionaires and billionaires.
And I've just come back from Vegas, Dave, so
Yeah.
there's a load of moral things going on there.
It's just my body. It's not my mind.
Interesting music choice.
You might enjoy
Remember
it.
this from
Don't
the
bet on it.
original trailer, but
And if you were mine,
in Emmanuel or something.
I wouldn't share you with anyone.
It was sex, David. Just sex, not love. Just sex.
Now, the evening would come and go, but the money could last a lifetime. Think of it.
This was a
$1 million
massive movie, wasn't it?
It was huge.
for one night.
I think it did get people talking as well, didn't it? And I don't think I've seen this, you know. I think
have,
I've seen the trailer so many times, but just not the actual movie. But to be honest, I mean, the trailer, it's one of those where the trailer, surely it just tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically. You don't need to watch it, Dave.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I've watched this once and I remember being like dead annoyed as I was a teenager when I watched it. But yeah, there's a couple of good bits in it, Dave. We'll talk about that off podcast. But no, if I remember correctly. But no, I think the idea behind it was huge. It was in all the papers, everything on it at the time for the internet. It was like real, like talking point on it. I think that's what made the movie quite a bit of a phenomenon as well. So yeah, be interesting. This I think it was on the same time he did White Men Can't Jump as well. With the house,
right,
off
okay.
the back of chairs. So, no, good stuff, mate. And thank you for the pick, Helen. I don't know. I'm worried now what the paying one was, Dave. But there you go. We'll save that.
Yeah, well, I'll keep that
Don't
shut.
say anything. Do that one, yeah, just in case you just picked that one. Well, thank you, Helen. That's a great one. Thanks, Kent, for today. Thank everyone as always. If you want to email us, the VHSStrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media at VHSStrikesback. If you do support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honor and a big thank you to Graham, Matty V, Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Tim, Matt, Hales, Kent, Looking at the Green, Dan, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Amazing stuff, as always. And I'm really intrigued about next 3 days. I don't know where I'm going to stand on this. But what musical magic have you got for us today, my friend?
Well, Chris, what I wanted to go for this week, again, just something I hadn't mentioned actually in the review, just how bloody warm and fuzzy I feel when I go back to a movie that is just clearly set in the mid-'80s. I don't know what it is, just the the clothes, the cars, the whole setting, the environment. And so I just musically just wanted to get right back to the middle of the 80s. Now, I put there's no rousing chorus in particular with this. I just wanted something that would immerse you, because what we didn't really have, I mean, we had a few flashes of, you know, splashing the cash and whatever, but I think what I was missing was a montage. And I thought, right, it's something that would fit right in the middle of the movie as a montage while Monty's frivolously, easy for me to say, getting rid of the cash, splashing the cash everywhere. So this one, Chris, it's called Spend It.
Very 80s.
Listen to that spin.
100%.
Spend it, just a little quick and don't get queasy. Sure, you're wasting it, and Monty, you know that you're gonna hit the heights. 'Cause I'm sure that this cash was made for burning, while the lawyers watch the tables turning. What's the hurry? Spend it, buy a bad idea and make it easy. Keep on chasing it, and Monty, you know that you've got to lose the lot. 'Cause a fortune's only yours if you can break it. 30 days to waste it, fake it, shake it. What's the panic? Spend it, run a campaign loud and proudly cheesy. Keep repeating it, and Monty, you know that they're gonna think you're nuts. 'Cause I'm sure that the voters will discover there's no better choice than none of the above. What's the slogan? Spend it down to every cent and make it breezy. No retrieving it. Monty, you know that you're gonna win the prize. 'Cause I'm sure that the poor man act is ending with $100 million pending. What's the fortune?
Very good.
There you go, Chris. So proper Casio keyboard stuff. In fact, you could almost imagine the keytar, you know, with the someone playing it with the pointy glasses. So, yeah, lots of fun, that one. Lots of fun. Stick it right in the middle of the movie. Montage of Monty spending all his cash and stuff, maybe in the remake. But Chris, thank you very much. Thanks so much, Kent, for the pick. Loved going back to this one, and looking forward to Helen's pick next week as well. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off. Get to the chopper! One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid. Yeah, maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I seen you at 6 miles. I must break you.